All right, guys, let's jump straight into the exciting news of the week. We're actually getting right down to where I thought we were going to end up. Probably end up in a better position this week than quicker than I thought we were going to, just with the fact that there was so many injuries and a lot of teams were fielding 15 or 16 players. Luckily for us in the People squad, we were able to have 17 complete, strong players. Didn't have Avrilo or Trbojevic or Hughes, but we still managed to get a strong team together. So that's really, really good news for us. Obviously made a couple of decent trades in there as well. We did bring in Jackson, who picked up 50, so it was solid enough. But also picked up Aiken for our centres, and that was a really good one. Just with Avrilo being not sure if he was going to play, picking up Aiken there for 57 was really good. The only annoying one for us at this stage is Ponga. We thought he'd be doing a lot better than he would be against some of these lesser teams, and just hasn't happened. So there's probably going to be that game or two, hopefully two, the last two there where he's going to pop off and do really well. His scoring is a little bit similar to Latrell this year, where he has the big one, has the lower one, that up and down kind of player, and hopefully over the next few he can go out and do that. But the team's looking really strong. Obviously, we picked up Cook a few weeks ago, captain Payne Haas this week for 75, so DCE was the other option. We missed out on 6 points, but that's okay. We did get 1,076 for the week, so no worries at all on that one. But Cam Murray there sitting with 63, so back to his good scoring. Obviously, Papali'i not as good, along with Fafita, but the majority of the top, 500, 1,000 have those two players anyway. Dewey was a lower one as well, but I guess a lot of the top teams are picking him up, or have been over the last month or so. Once he started, scoring well again at 6 roll. DCE was great. Raymond at Aiken, and then you got Teddy, which again the majority of people have, but holding on to Walsh has been really cool. A few people might not be playing him, or have traded him out, and Ponga 35, but still holding on to Watson, getting Moses a score of 69 this week, and then Verrill's doing really well for us, having to play him for 48 and Jackson for 50 is great. So I suppose the question now lies in the fact of, we're probably going to have Trbojevic, we might have Hughes back this week. So we have enough cover, you'd imagine, for the last couple of rounds. Avrilo might come back as well. So that's 20 players, right? Our question right now is who can we trade in that's going to improve our team? I suppose that's the final question for these last 2 rounds. What kind of player could we trade out? And who could we bring in that's going to benefit our side? So, obviously Munster's someone that would be ideal. I'd love to have Cleary, but, it just wasn't going to, unfortunately, just a little bit too high. It wasn't going to work out for us. But Munster's probably the main man, right? Harry Grant's the other one, if he's going to get the full 80, depending on what happens with Brandon Smith, if he's going to be playing a 13 role or something like that. But they're kind of the only two that I'd be looking to select, I believe, for these last few rounds. So the question is there an injury? Is there a suspension coming out of this week? I don't think so. So do you make the trade for a Munster? Can we get him in some way? We have 50k remaining, so there's obviously a bunch of guys that we could trade out to get a Munster. They have to be 716 or more. We couldn't even trade out for Fafita, who's playing bad. So there's that, or we just wait and maybe we lose a big dog for the last round and can use that trade there. But I think we've done really well with saving our trades and putting ourselves in a good position to dominate these last few rounds. And I see us getting under a 300 rank coming into these last few. So that's kind of where we're at in the team. Obviously having Hughes and Trbojevic back next week, hopefully, will help us out. We won't have to play like a Verrill's. I suppose who else do we not play? Kind of got to play Ponga just for the fun of it, or do you not play like a Schuster or something like that? We can probably try and do a bit of a loop as well, but we'll see how we go with that one. So that's that's the People squad. I'm really happy with how we've ended up. For first year putting this kind of team together, I think we've all come together and done really well in selecting this and not rage trading. I feel like that in a big group of people, it'd be like, no, make this trade, that trade, that don't. And I think we've done really well. Obviously, I am moderating it as to making the final decision, but pretty much the whole time has been just picking players that were majority voted by everyone. So that's that. All right, my team, we ended up with 920 this week. I did bring in Harry Grant, so thank God I did that. Otherwise, I would have had a really low score. But only 15 players, obviously cost us, let's just say getting at least to 1,000. But a rank of 1351 now with no trades to go, and just didn't have the cattle, sitting there with Crichton, Harawira, Trbojevic, Taumalolo, and Avrilo is a bit of a killer. Hopefully have them back, or at least 17 on the park next week would be ideal. But that first game was really good. I had Foggs and Grant. Just my centers weren't as good. If you're looking at People's squad, my two have been doing really well and just didn't have their big week, unfortunately. Obviously playing Dewey there for feeder with 30, and then just the Lussick and Verrills were solid, but missing out on those couple of players was hurtful, I suppose, with that one. But I suppose not too much to talk about with my squad. I suppose we've had some unlucky things along the way. There's periods there where we were doing really well. I think we were kind of chasing our tail a lot of the time. And, I was on the back foot from that first round. Just didn't select the perfect team, for round one, which most of us don't, to be fair. But our people squad, and it was kind of just more consistent along the whole way. I'd have a couple of weeks of really good stretch when Roger, Foggs, and those kind of guys did really well. But then I'd have a bunch of down weeks. When Roger moved to 2, I had Foggs having some injury games. He also, obviously got injured and didn't come back this last, 4 weeks. I had the Dewey situation where I got a couple of good scores out of him, and then he moves to the centres and has that negative week. We've had a little bit with the Harawira, a bit up and down as well. Manu was kind of one of the lucky ones that sort of started, around that 40, a bit under the 40 average, and then kind of kicked on and did really well. I got Teddy pretty late, but when I picked him up, he started doing really well. I suppose there's just a bunch of other ones, like obviously Holden Brayley for a long time when he was struggling and thinking that he would come good, which at the start of the season he was one of the top guns. So bringing Tamalolo in was solid, but I missed out on Trebojevic early was kind of the killer. I picked him up a lot later. Obviously missed out on a lot of his price rises, and having to pay up on him was kind of the killer. So there's going to be plenty of lessons to learn. We'll jump through that at the end of the season anyway. But I suppose that's all I wanted to say on my team. We've obviously got no trades left. We can't do too much, but I do have a few guys coming back, and I'll have Crichton for next week, the last round as well. Hopefully Lolo and Trebojevic will come back, and we can play a pretty solid squad and hopefully get back into the top 1,000. That would be ideal. We'll see how we go. Obviously, not as strong this week, but we'll come back. We'll be better. I knew this week or two would be pretty tough, and we'd improve from there. So they're the two teams, guys. I hope you are enjoying being a part of the People Squad. If you're not, please jump in the Discord. Send me a message in the comments there, and you can jump in to that one. And if not, get ready for a big one next year when we're gonna go large. So as always, guys, as I say, hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and have us there ready to go for next year at the very least. So see you guys. Have a good day.